This week in Vaporwave history. For our Vaporwave history segment this episode, I'm covering a release from 2012 that helped birth a crucial subgenre of the scene's second wave. Vacant Places by Hantasi. Vacant Places came out on September 6, 2012, and it was the first album under the moniker Hantasi. Looking back at the artist's Facebook page, not only did he release this album, but he released multiple albums and singles throughout the end of 2012 and into 2013. He's still releasing music to this day, and he has a vast catalog that you definitely should check out. But back to this album, while not initially tagged Vaporwave upon release, Mallsoft was added to it by March 2013, and the album's conceptual nature, recontextualized samples, and ability to invoke an unsettling nostalgia made it ripe for inclusion in the Vaporwave canon. Upon release, it was available as a free digital download and a self-release CD that was merely $4.99, right in line with the DIY productions and pricing of the 2000s. The CD version of this album, with original and alternate artwork, was released in a limited run of 100, although it's tough to find any pictures of those CDs nowadays. Listening to Vacant Places in the wake of a million other Mallsoft albums that have come out over the past 10 years is a bit of a revelation. This is not the literal take on Mallsoft that we hear from most producers, aka the soundtrack of being in a mall during the 80s or 90s. It's not a mixtape of washed-out song snippets peering through the haze and ambient noise of zoned-out shoppers. The tracks on Vacant Places reverberate through the empty halls and memories of consumer spaces, and it predates some of the other early Mallsoft touchstones, like Hologram Plaza by Disconsciousness, All Mall by Cat System Corp, and Yes, We're Open by Groceries. While there is some sampling of Muzak and Weather Channel adjacent music, the most striking sample choices are of music that sounds much older than the typical eras sampled in Vaporwave productions. Light classical, old-timey jazz, and exotica broaden the scope of nostalgia and broaden the conceptual arc of Vacant Places. This tour through the decaying halls of the almighty dollar traces the haunted history of these social spaces. Not only do we move through the spaces, thanks to the narrative created by the track names, but we move through time. The generous helpings of reverb and echo congeal these various sample sources together, seamlessly transporting you to different eras of this decaying space's life. From the pre-war Art Deco trappings of the upper class, to the mid-century modernism of the post-war era, to the glass facades of the late-stage capitalist suburbs, we get a window into the life and death of these consumerist spaces throughout the 20th century. In the comments section of the YouTube upload on the Vapor Memory channel, some avid sample hunters have tracked down a number of sources for this album. And something that sticks out to me in the sample list is a series of recordings by East German pianist and composer Henry Seeger, who doesn't have much info online, at least in English. The tracks come from a late compilation of light jazz and blues recordings he made that translates directly to Piano Dream Melodies, which is fitting for this liminal album, which completely transforms the emotions and settings of its various sample sources. Hantasi has a vast catalog of hauntological, plunderphonic, and ambient music, with a few standout releases that have also been canonized within the scene. Notably, his compilation Liminal Spaces, which is sort of a successor to Vacant Places, and even includes the track Northwest Plaza, among other cuts from his 2010s catalog, has a great video about it on Pad Chennington's channel. Check it out, it also has some commentary about it from the artist himself. However, back in 2018, the artist also dubbed another release of his as a spiritual successor to Vacant Places in a Facebook post. The album A Government, which was released by the now-defunct label Net Century. I recommend you check out both the album A Government and Net Century's deep catalog, which became a home for second-wave producers to release their late 2010s work, as well as a platform for the early albums of contemporary favorites like VCR Classique, Desert Sands Feels Warm at Night, Cryosana, and Channel Select. Vacant Places has gone on to have a lasting legacy in the Vaporwave scene, bridging the gap between the hauntological works of the 2000s like The Caretaker and William Basinski's Disintegration Loops, as well as other unsettling works of sampled music in the subgenres of vapor like Signal Wave, Hush Wave, and of course, Mallsoft. The album's treatment of the liminal spaces of consumerism continues to inspire artists to this day and invokes the anemoia, nostalgia for a past you never experienced, for the next generation who never got to go to the shopping mall in its cultural prime. While there may be more well-known Mallsoft albums that came out in its wake, Vacant Places is a unique and eerie journey through the different eras of the shopping mall. Before the subgenre was even defined, Hantasi's album, Vacant Places, set the stage and put a new spin on the nostalgic and haunted music of plunderphonic vaporwave. You can listen to the album on Hantasi's Bandcamp, but a better way to experience it and to read the thoughts and comments of other listeners is on YouTube. It was also reissued on vinyl by Geometric Lullaby back in 2019, but has been sold out for a while, as have the cassette versions from the artist himself and the Bedlam Tapes edition, which I think may have ultimately helped canonize this album with its 2016 reissue. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you tune in to future episodes of the Vaporwave News Network. From our part of the Vapor world, this is Alex, signing off until next time.
Vaporwave News Network.